serious, the longer he walks alone. Because while most chase validation, Sigmas evolve in silence. Let's break this down. Being single isn't a setback for the Sigma, it's an opportunity. According to psychological studies on solitude, time spent alone enhances self-awareness and creative problem-solving. Sigma males harness this to refine their goals, habits, and mindset. They don't waste energy trying to impress. Instead, they channel that energy into mastering skills, building financial independence, or learning new disciplines, whether it's coding, fitness, or philosophy. Time alone gives them clarity. They're not distracted by social expectations or emotional turbulence. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology shows that self-reflective solitude is associated with increased emotional regulation and reduced stress. Sigma males use this solitude to sharpen their focus and elevate their emotional intelligence. They also become more magnetic. Why? Because mystery is magnetic. In a world full of oversharing, a man who moves silently and confidently sparks curiosity. That unpredictability becomes power. And here's the kicker. They don't just grow, they transcend. By refusing to conform, they cultivate a rare energy that makes them immune to societal pressure and more in tune with their authentic self. So, while others fear being alone, Sigma males thrive in it. Their solitude isn't empty, it's empowering. That's why the longer a Sigma male is single, the more powerful he becomes. Number one, he taps into total freedom. Freedom isn't just about doing what you want, it's about discovering who you are at the core. For a Sigma male, being single isn't a period of lack, it's a period of liberation. When he's free of romantic obligations, he doesn't simply have time, he owns it. There are no calendars to sync, no compromises to make, no emotional labor to manage for someone else. Every hour is his to shape, and that autonomy is gold to the Sigma. Sigma males are naturally introspective, and solitude isn't loneliness, it's fuel. According to a 2022 study published in Personality and Individual Differences, individuals who embrace solitude tend to have higher levels of self-reflection and personal growth. That's Sigma 101. Without relationship constraints, he doesn't just function, he thrives. Want to move across the country for a better job? Done. Want to spend 2 weeks in the forest learning survival skills? Absolutely. Need a year to write a book or master Japanese? Let's go. This freedom isn't about escapism, it's about alignment. Without the need to please, impress, or compromise, Sigma males can focus their energy on self-mastery. They're not chasing dates, they're chasing excellence. And science backs this up. Maslow's hierarchy of needs places self-actualization at the top, where a person seeks to fulfill their full potential. That's exactly what a Sigma male is wired for when he's flying solo. He's not avoiding relationships out of fear. He's choosing independence out of purpose. That distinction matters. While society often pressures men to settle down as a sign of maturity, the Sigma quietly redefines what fulfillment looks like. His freedom is not about rejecting love, but about making room for something deeper, self-evolution. In this sense, his life becomes a canvas. He is the artist, the brush, his choices. Every stroke counts and nothing is wasted. He's not free to be careless, he's free to be deliberate, and that's the difference. So when a Sigma male is single, he's not waiting for love. He's building a life so rich, love would have to be extraordinary to be let in. Number two, his mind becomes a weapon. Let's be real, Sigmas. When you're not bogged down by relationship drama, emotional turmoil, or the dopamine chaos of endless texting, something remarkable happens. Your mind sharpens. You shift from reacting to life to engineering it. A single Sigma male becomes a walking upgrade. While others burn hours swiping or chasing validation, he's deep into books, podcasts, and purposeful thinking. And this isn't random consumption. This is strategic learning. Think of it like updating your mental operating system daily. Whether it's Naval Ravikant on wealth and happiness or Cal Newport on deep work, he feeds his brain with high-performance fuel. Research backs this up. According to a 2019 study published in the journal Intelligence, solitude is often linked with higher cognitive engagement, particularly in men who are introverted and introspective. These individuals tend to pursue solitary activities like reading, writing, and planning, habits that directly boost critical thinking and emotional regulation. Solitude becomes the Sigma's laboratory. In that quiet space, he reflects on past choices, dissects future goals, and aligns his actions with long-term strategy. He's not escaping the world. He's mastering it from behind the curtain. And here's where it gets interesting. When he finally steps into the room, people feel it. He doesn't flood conversations with noise. He speaks with intention. Every word, every move carries purpose. It's not just charisma, it's presence. The kind you can't fake, the kind forged in solitude. People notice, but they can't quite explain it. He doesn't fit the mold. He's calm in chaos, confident in silence, unpredictable but grounded. That mystique? It's not luck. It's the product of deliberate self-construction. So while others chase attention, the Sigma male sharpens his focus. He builds in the shadows until the world has no choice but to notice the light. That's the Sigma advantage. Number 3, he levels up his physical presence. No clingy dates to skip the gym for, no late-night drama draining his energy reserves. When a Sigma male is single, he's not wasting time. He's building power. This isn't about vanity, it's about mastery. Sigma males understand that their body is the vessel through which all action flows. Biologically, exercise increases testosterone, improves focus, boosts mood, and strengthens resilience, traits that align perfectly with the Sigma's self-reliant lifestyle. According to the American Psychological Association, consistent physical activity improves not just physical health, but also executive functioning, like planning and decision-making, 2 things Sigmas excel at. Every workout becomes a meditation. Every disciplined meal is a vote for the man he's becoming. He's sculpting his body not for likes or validation, but because control over self is power. His wardrobe, intentional, streamlined, not flashy but sharp. Because dressing well isn't about ego, it's about energy. Studies show that dressing purposefully can increase self-confidence and perceived competence. Sigma males use this knowledge not to dominate, but to align their external presence with their internal purpose. And here's the paradox. He's not doing it to attract attention. But that very independence, that unapologetic self-focus is magnetic. It's human psychology 101. We're wired to be drawn to those who don't seek our approval. The less he chases, the more others look. And when he walks into a room with upright posture, calm composure, and a look that says he's been somewhere, even if he hasn't said a word, the energy shifts. Because confidence isn't loud, strength doesn't boast, and discipline doesn't need a spotlight. When a Sigma male is single, he's not waiting. He's working, he's refining, he's radiating a kind of energy that can't be faked, because it's built in the quiet moments when no one's watching. And that's when everyone starts paying attention. Number 4, he builds emotional intelligence, alone. Funny thing is, most people assume emotional growth only happens in the context of relationships, that you need a partner to uncover your weaknesses, trigger your insecurities, and help you grow. But Sigma males, we know better. Here's the twist. Solitude doesn't hinder emotional growth, it supercharges it. When you're single, you're not dodging hard truths behind romantic distractions. You're standing in front of the metaphorical mirror, face to face with your unfiltered self. There's no one to blame when your insecurities flare up. No partner to project your frustrations onto, just you and the raw, uncomfortable truth. And that's where the magic happens. Psychologists call this self-confrontation, and it's one of the most powerful tools for emotional development. A 2016 study in the Journal of Personality found that people who actively engage in self-reflection show increased emotional intelligence and resilience. This means they understand their emotions better and bounce back from setbacks faster. Sigma males naturally gravitate toward this path. We don't just sit in silence, we thrive in it. Every trigger we feel is an opportunity for analysis. Every lonely night is a chance to understand our inner workings more deeply. And every fear we face alone becomes a muscle we strengthen. This solo journey builds something no relationship can offer: emotional sovereignty. And when you step back into the world, whether into friendships, work, or even love, you're not needy, reactive, or codependent. You're grounded, calm under pressure, a man who knows himself so well that nothing external can destabilize him. That's emotional strength forged in solitude. That's the Sigma advantage. So the next time someone assumes you're missing out by being single, smile. Because while they're outsourcing their emotional growth, you're mastering yours, one silent, powerful moment at a time. Number 5, he learns to love without needing. Here's the twist. The Sigma male doesn't avoid love, he just doesn't need it to function. That's a game changer in a world that often equates worth with relationship status. The Sigma male, often described as the lone wolf, thrives in solitude not because he's emotionally unavailable, but because he's emotionally self-sufficient. This independence allows him to approach love from a place of wholeness rather than lack. In psychology, this aligns with the concept of secure attachment. He's not anxiously seeking validation, nor is he avoidant. He's grounded. The longer he remains single, the clearer he sees the distinction between attachment and affection. Attachment often stems from fear. Fear of being alone, fear of being unloved. Affection, however, is freely given without strings or desperation. It's presence without pressure. And here's where it gets deeper. He learns to differentiate neediness, a craving for someone to fill a void, from presence, which is about fully showing up for another person without expecting them to complete you. This mindset isn't just attractive, it's powerful. When a Sigma gives love, it's intentional. It's not a reflex to loneliness or social expectation, it's a conscious choice. He doesn't chase affection, he evaluates it. He doesn't settle just to check a box, he selects with clarity. This mindset makes him incredibly rare in today's fast-paced dating culture. In a world filled with performative affection and surface-level connections, his quiet confidence and deliberate love stand out. Studies show that people are naturally drawn to those who exude autonomy and authenticity, two traits the Sigma male has in abundance. That's why he's irresistible. He doesn't just offer love, he offers depth. And when he chooses someone, it's not because he needs them, but because he sees their value clearly. In the end, the Sigma male doesn't reject love, he elevates it. Number 6, he masters the art of detachment. Detachment isn't about coldness or shutting off from emotions, it's about clarity and control. Unlike impulsive reactions driven by anxiety or jealousy, detachment empowers you to observe situations without being overwhelmed. This distinction is key to understanding the mindset of a Sigma male, especially the single Sigma who has mastered this art. When most people receive a text that's ambiguous or wait anxiously for a reply, they spiral into overthinking. They analyze every word, decode every emoji, and sometimes imagine the worst scenarios. Similarly, subtle social cues, a glance, a smile, or a pause in conversation, become triggers for insecurity or jealousy. This emotional roller coaster creates a dependency on others' attention for validation and self-worth. The Sigma male, however, approaches these interactions differently. Detachment means he isn't a prisoner to his emotions, he uses them as tools. He experiences feelings fully but doesn't let them dictate his actions. This gives him remarkable clarity. Instead of reacting impulsively, he observes the dynamics objectively. He reads the room, gauges the energy, and understands when it's best to engage and when it's wiser to step back. Scientific studies on emotional intelligence reveal that individuals who practice healthy detachment manage stress better and make decisions that align with their long-term goals. They exhibit resilience, self-awareness, and a calm demeanor, qualities that naturally draw respect from others. Because he's not addicted to attention or approval, the Sigma male maintains independence. He's comfortable being alone and doesn't fear silence or solitude. This freedom unsettles people who rely on constant social validation because it's a form of power, the power to walk away without fear or regret. In essence, detachment is a strength, not a weakness. It commands respect because it reflects mastery over oneself. When others panic or cling to fleeting emotions, the Sigma remains steady, clear-headed, and in control. That's why detachment is a defining trait of the Sigma male. It's the balance of emotional depth with strategic clarity. Number 7, he becomes mysteriously attractive. Let's face it, mystery is magnetic. Throughout history, people have been drawn to those who carry an air of enigma. Think of the elusive artist, the quiet genius, or the lone wolf who walks his own path. Among modern personality archetypes, the Sigma male embodies this magnetic mystery like no other. What makes Sigmas so intriguing? It's their independence and self-reliance. Unlike others who constantly seek validation through social media likes or relationship updates, Sigma males operate on a different wavelength. They don't feel the need to broadcast their lives or chase attention. In fact, they often fly under the radar, choosing solitude and self-development over external approval. This absence of oversharing creates an aura of intrigue that naturally pulls others in. Psychologically, humans are wired to be curious about what they can't easily understand. This is called the curiosity gap. When something is partly unknown, it captivates our attention and drives us to seek answers. Sigma males, with their quiet confidence and mysterious demeanor, create exactly this gap. They don't hand out their stories. Instead, they let people wonder, question, and speculate. This makes them endlessly fascinating and irresistible in social dynamics. Another key trait of Sigmas is their emotional autonomy. They're not controlled by societal expectations or the need to fit in, which gives them a calm, steady presence that stands out. Because they aren't constantly in the spotlight, when they do choose to reveal parts of themselves, it feels rare and valuable. So while many chase the fleeting buzz of social approval, Sigmas quietly disappear and evolve, letting their authentic selves grow in the background. And ironically, the very mystery they maintain becomes a beacon, attracting others naturally. They are the enigma everyone wants to solve but never quite can, and in that lies their power. Number 8, he develops an unbreakable mission. When you remove all the distractions, the noise, the chaos, the meaningless clutter, your mission becomes crystal clear. This is the core strength of a Sigma male. Unlike others who may seek validation or approval from the crowd, a Sigma thrives in solitude. His alone time isn't wasted. It's a powerful tool that fuels his purpose. Research in psychology supports this. Solitude can significantly enhance creativity, focus, and self-awareness. When alone, the Sigma male can reflect deeply on his goals, plan strategically, and develop the discipline needed to master his craft. Whether he's building a business, honing an art form, or reshaping the world around him, every quiet moment sharpens his sense of why he's here. Unlike aimless wandering, a Sigma's solitude is deliberate. His purpose becomes his compass, guiding his every action. Neuroscientific studies show that having a clear purpose activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine, which fuels motivation and persistence. This makes a man with purpose truly formidable. And here's the truth. When a man is driven by a profound why, he is not just surviving, he's hunting. He moves with intention, clarity, and relentless focus. He is the kind of man who doesn't need to shout his ambitions from the rooftops because his actions speak volumes. This level of focus and self-mastery makes the Sigma male one of the most dangerous forces in any arena, from business to art to life itself. So next time you find yourself overwhelmed by distractions, remember this: remove the noise, sharpen your mission, embrace your solitude, and hunt your purpose with unyielding precision. That's the Sigma way. So Sigmas, next time someone says, "Why are you still single?" just smile, because they don't see the storm you're building, the clarity you're crafting, the legacy you're laying brick by brick. The longer you're single, the more powerful you become, not because you're avoiding life, but because you're mastering it. Remember, being single isn't your weakness, it's your weapon. If you felt this video, Sigmas, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and join this growing brotherhood of men who live life by their own rules. Comment below and tell us what you've discovered about yourself during your solo journey. Stay strong, stay sharp, and as always, stay true and stay Sigma. They don't chase, they don't brag, they don't even try. Yet when an older Sigma male walks into the room, younger women, and they don't forget. While other men compete for attention, he simply exists. And somehow that changes everything. Why? It's not his age, it's not his wallet, it's not even his looks. It's that rare, raw, unteachable Sigma energy that speaks louder than words and operates on a different frequency. Welcome, Sigmas, to today's psychological deep dive. Let's make one thing clear. This isn't about charm tricks or chasing youth. This is about, and the science backs it up. Studies in evolutionary psychology show that women are biologically drawn to men who signal stability, confidence, and direction. Sigma males, with their emotional independence and lived experience, radiate exactly that. They're not loud, but they're grounded. They're not flashy, but they're deeply aware. They move through life with a quiet intensity, and younger women feel that. While others show off, Sigmas withdraw, and that paradox creates mystery. Mystery builds intrigue, and intrigue, it's irresistible. He's not just older, he's refined. His silence holds wisdom, his stillness holds strength. And unlike men who constantly seek validation, Sigma males validate. That's the secret. It's not manipulation, it's mastery. It's not performance, it's presence. So buckle up, Sigmas. We're breaking it all down, trait by trait, moment by moment. Let's go. Point 1. Mastery of self. The foundation of Sigma energy. Younger women today aren't just looking for someone with a charming smile or a flashy lifestyle. They're looking for depth, direction, and emotional intelligence. In a world where so many men are still stumbling through life, unsure of who they are or what they want, a man who has done the inner work stands out like a lighthouse in a storm. That's where the older Sigma male enters the scene. Sigmas are known for their independence and self-reliance, but the older Sigma male has taken these traits to a whole new level. Through years of experience, failure, growth, and reflection, he has mastered himself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. According to psychologist Carl Jung, true maturity comes from the integration of the shadow self, facing and healing your inner wounds. Most older Sigmas have done just that. They don't react impulsively, they don't seek drama. They move through life with calm precision, aware of their purpose and confident in their path. This grounded energy is incredibly rare, and rare is always attractive. It's not about being the loudest guy in the room or showing off expensive watches and cars. It's about presence. When an older Sigma walks into a room, people feel it. He doesn't need to prove anything because his confidence is rooted in something deeper than ego. It's rooted in knowing who he is. For younger women, this is magnetic, especially in a culture dominated by fast-paced dating, temporary flings, and emotionally unavailable men. A grounded man who offers emotional safety and intellectual depth becomes a beacon. He represents stability in a sea of uncertainty. He's not trying to be impressive, he just is. And that's the secret. Older Sigma males don't chase attention, they attract it. Because self-mastery, emotional intelligence, and a quiet but unwavering sense of purpose will always outshine loud, shallow bravado. Point 2. The power of mystery. Less talk, more presence. While younger guys flood their social media feeds with selfies, gym pics, and every latte they drink, older Sigma males take a different path. The path of silence. They don't broadcast every move. They don't need digital applause to validate their worth. They're off the grid, yet somehow always on her mind. How does that work? It's called the power of mystery, and it's magnetic. Psychologically, humans are hardwired to be curious about what they can't easily understand. When someone leaves gaps in their story, our brains can't help but try to fill them in. This is known as the information gap theory. The idea that we feel compelled to seek information when we notice it's missing. So when a man doesn't overshare, doesn't need to prove anything, and just exists in his own calm, confident space, it ignites curiosity in others, especially women. This is where the Sigma male thrives. He's not loud, he doesn't chase trends or scream for attention. Instead, he becomes the guy who walks into a room and makes people wonder. Younger women in particular are drawn to this kind of enigma. In a world of constant scrolling, they're used to surface-level personalities. So when they encounter a man who doesn't lay it all out immediately, someone who feels like a challenge, it disrupts the pattern. A Sigma is like a Rubik's Cube made of life experience, quiet strength, and just enough unpredictability to keep things interesting. And unlike a social media profile, you can't swipe your way into his world. You have to earn access. Every layer you unlock reveals something deeper, a story, a belief, a skill. It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being genuinely selective with his time and energy. The result? He becomes unforgettable. Not because he posted the perfect reel, but because he didn't need to. His silence, his mystery, and his presence say more than 1,000 filtered selfies ever could. That's Sigma power. Point 3. Age =, wisdom, not weariness. Let's set the record straight. Age doesn't make a man less attractive, not when he's a Sigma male. In fact, Sigma males often become attractive with age. Why? Because they were never chasing shallow validation to begin with. While others may have spent their youth focused on fleeting trends or surface-level appeal, Sigmas were building something far more powerful: depth. Their focus has always been inward, growing in wisdom, developing discipline, and mastering their emotions. This makes them stand out in a world obsessed with noise and novelty. Younger women, especially those tired of emotional immaturity and constant online showboating, are naturally drawn to this quiet strength. Sigmas offer what the TikTok generation often lacks: stillness, substance, and sincerity. These men don't chase clout, they move with intention. They don't post every opinion. They reflect, analyze, and speak only when it matters. And let's be honest, that kind of restraint is magnetic. It's been scientifically observed that confidence, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence, traits that typically develop with age, are major factors in long-term attraction. A 2012 study published in found that people with high emotional stability were seen as more attractive, regardless of physical features. Sigma males check that box effortlessly. Their life experience becomes a story women want to be part of, not because it's flashy, but because it's real. While younger men may flex abs, Sigma males flex their vision. They don't dwell on their past. They learn from it. Every scar is a symbol of growth. Every setback a stepping stone. Their age isn't a number to hide. It's a badge of honor that says, I've walked through fire and came out sharper, wiser, and unshakably calm. So no, age doesn't make a Sigma less attractive. It only reveals more of who he truly is. And trust me, that's what makes him irresistible. Point 4, they don't try to impress. And that impresses. Here's the paradox. The Sigma male doesn't care about impressing anyone, and yet everyone's impressed. Why? Because true power lies in detachment. While most men scramble for validation, the Sigma simply exists on his own terms. And that kind of self-possession is magnetic. Younger women, especially those accustomed to constant attention, flattery, and the chase, find the Sigma male a different breed altogether. They're used to being pursued, but when a Sigma encounters them, something shifts. He doesn't look at her in admiration, he looks through her. He's analyzing, not adoring, observing her words, energy, and actions, not her appearance, and that throws her off balance. Why? Because the Sigma male isn't trying to win her over. He's not performing, he's not auditioning for her affection. He's silent, calculating, and if he doesn't find substance beneath the surface, he won't engage. This rare reversal of roles flips the script entirely. Suddenly, she's leaning in. According to psychology, people are naturally drawn to what they can't easily understand. The Sigma's quiet mystery, combined with his confident detachment, creates an irresistible pull. In marketing terms, it's scarcity. When something is rare, people want it more. And the Sigma's attention? It's rare. This dynamic operates on what's known as the reward uncertainty principle. When the brain can't predict whether it will get a reward, like the Sigma's attention, dopamine spikes. She becomes intrigued, even obsessed, because the Sigma refuses to play by traditional rules. Mystery plus indifference, wrapped in quiet confidence, becomes a cocktail most can't resist. He's not cold, he's just selective. And that selectiveness, it makes people chase what they normally take for granted. The Sigma male doesn't pursue, yet he's always pursued. Not because he's trying to be elusive, but because his authenticity, independence, and self-control speak louder than 1,000 pickup lines. In the end, the Sigma's greatest flex is that he doesn't flex at all. Point 5, financial stability plus emotional maturity equals sign. Unfair advantage. Let's be real. It's not just about the age gap, it's about the gap. By the time a Sigma male hits his 40s or 50s, he's usually built a life by design, not by default. He's not just drifting through life reacting to circumstances, he's made conscious, strategic moves. Financially, he's stable or thriving. Emotionally, he's no longer ruled by ego or impulse. Mentally, he's sharp, self-aware, and intentional. Every move he makes is calculated, not because he's cold, but because he values his time, energy, and peace. Now let's talk about what this looks like from the outside. Younger women aren't necessarily drawn to the in his age. They're drawn to the he carries. While many younger men are still figuring out their identity, switching careers every 6 months, and chasing short-term validation, a Sigma male in his prime stands firm like a tree that's weathered many storms. In psychological terms, this is known as emotional maturity, a trait proven to foster healthier relationships, stronger communication, and greater life satisfaction. According to studies published in the Emotional Intelligence tends to peak later in life, particularly between the ages of 40 to 60. Sigma males naturally exemplify this, often because they've spent years refining themselves in solitude and silence rather than social noise. In a chaotic world where anxiety is common and uncertainty is the norm, a Sigma male doesn't just bring calm, he calm. He doesn't promise a stable life, he won. That's the difference. He's not trying to save anyone, impress anyone, or be someone he's not. He simply lives in alignment with his values, and that kind of authenticity is magnetic. So when a younger woman sees him, it's not about sugar daddies or status. It's about safety, wisdom, and strength in a world that rarely offers any. The age gap may catch her eye, but it's the value gap that captures her respect. Point 6. High standards, low drama. The Sigma male is famously known for one defining trait: he doesn't do drama. Unlike many who get caught up in emotional roller coasters, petty conflicts, or exhausting games, the Sigma chooses a different path. But this isn't because he's boring or disengaged. Far from it. The real reason lies in his high standards, not only for those around him, but most importantly for himself. Drama, by nature, is chaotic and distracting. It drains energy, clouds judgment, and stalls personal growth. The Sigma male recognizes this early on. He values his time and emotional bandwidth too much to waste it on unnecessary conflicts or immature antics. Instead, he focuses on what truly matters: meaningful connections, purposeful goals, and self-improvement. This attitude naturally filters out negativity and attracts people who share a similar level of maturity and respect. When a younger woman with emotional maturity encounters a Sigma male, she finds something incredibly rare and refreshing. She notices that he isn't desperate or needy. He doesn't chase attention or validation. Instead, he's quietly selective, choosing to invest his time and energy only in relationships that are genuine and worthwhile. That selectivity is not about arrogance, it's about self-respect. For her, catching the Sigma's attention is the ultimate compliment. It means she stands out in a crowd, not because she fits a mold, but because she resonates with his values and high standards. It's a signal that she's seen as a quality person, worthy of his time and energy. This dynamic explains why Sigma males often attract partners who are emotionally grounded and self-aware. Both parties value authenticity over superficiality, and that creates a strong foundation built on mutual respect and understanding. So when you hear the Sigma doesn't do drama, remember, it's not about avoiding life's challenges. It's about choosing to engage only in what enriches his life and elevates those around him. Point 7, he offers adventure, but with direction. Most younger men often offer spontaneity without much substance. It's easy to be all about last-minute plans, quick thrills, and surface-level fun. But that's where older Sigma males stand apart. They offer adventure with intention. This isn't just about chasing excitement, it's about pursuing meaningful experiences that shape both mind and character. Older Sigmas tend to be well-traveled, having seen the world beyond the tourist traps. They've walked ancient paths, navigated foreign cities, and learned from diverse cultures. Their journeys aren't just about collecting stamps on a passport, but gathering wisdom and stories that deepen their perspective on life. This broad exposure feeds into a mental richness few can match. Beyond travel, these men are deeply read and curious. They dive into philosophy, history, and science, not to impress, but to understand the world and their place in it. They're the kind of people who love debating ideas over a quiet evening, rather than just scrolling through social media or chasing fleeting entertainment. This intellectual curiosity drives them to constantly evolve. Instead of merely wanting to hit the club or pursue surface-level fun, older Sigmas aim higher. They dream of hiking remote mountains, uncovering hidden truths, and even building empires, whether in business, art, or thought leadership. Their adventures are deliberate, focused on growth and legacy. Younger women who crave depth and authenticity are naturally drawn to this type of man. He shows them the world not just in places, but through perspectives, offering a connection that transcends the superficial and touches the soul. In a culture often obsessed with instant gratification, older Sigmas remind us that true adventure is about intention, meaning, and growth. Point 8, he teaches without preaching. There's nothing more annoying than someone who lectures endlessly, telling others what to do without truly inspiring them. The Sigma male takes a completely different approach. Instead of preaching, he leads by example. This subtle, powerful style of influence is what sets him apart. Through his deliberate choices, calm demeanor, and composed reactions to adversity, the Sigma demonstrates what it means to be masculine, mature, and mission-driven. He doesn't waste energy telling younger women or anyone what they should be. Instead, he quietly shows them what's possible by living it himself. This form of leadership is grounded in authenticity and action, not empty words. Research in psychology shows that people are far more likely to be influenced by behavior they observe rather than by direct instructions. The Sigma's calm confidence and resilience under pressure create a magnetic aura. This kind of leadership inspires respect and trust naturally, making it far more effective than any lecture or command. That kind of leadership, it's irresistible. It draws others in, not through force or pressure, but through genuine strength and example. In a world full of noise, the Sigma's quiet power stands out as a beacon of true influence. So, Sigmas, here's the real deal. Younger women don't just see an older Sigma as a romantic option, they see him as a standard. He represents what's rare in today's world. A man who doesn't need attention to be powerful, who doesn't chase trends to feel valid, and who doesn't fake confidence. He is confident. This is why age gaps don't scare Sigma males. Because their value doesn't decrease with age, it sharpens. You don't have to chase youth when you embody wisdom. You don't have to impress when you're the impression. Remember, Sigmas, it's not about being older, it's about being better. If this video struck a chord, drop a like, hit that subscribe button and join the tribe of Sigma males living life on their terms. Share this with a fellow Sigma who needs the reminder. Your time, energy, and presence are your greatest currency. Stay focused, stay free, stay true, and stay Sigma. Sigmas, ever felt so confident it scared people off? But what happens when that confidence, the core of your power, crosses a line? There's a razor-thin edge between being impressively confident and coming off like an arrogant lone wolf no one wants around. Welcome to today's deep dive. When Sigma male confidence turns into arrogance, we'll explore how this shift happens, why it matters, and how to stay rooted in authentic power. Confidence is knowing your worth without the need for approval. It's what draws people to you. But arrogance, that's believing your worth makes others lesser. It's subtle, but dangerous. Studies in social psychology show that excessive self-regard often leads to poor decision-making, damaged relationships, and even social isolation. So where does the slip begin? It often starts when solitude turns into superiority. Sigma males thrive in independence, but when they begin to see others as distractions or inferiors, that's when the ego takes the wheel. Instead of quietly leading by example, they start making silence feel like judgment and detachment feel like disdain. Why does this matter? Because arrogance repels what confidence attracts. Opportunities dry up. People stop listening. You stop growing. The strength of the Sigma isn't in being above others, it's in mastering the self. So stay grounded. Confidence whispers, arrogance shouts. One builds empires, the other stands alone in ruins. Remember, the world doesn't need another arrogant man, it needs the quiet storm, a Sigma who knows his power and uses it wisely. Let's get into it. Point 1, the confidence-arrogance spectrum. Let's clear the air right away, Sigmas. Confidence is quiet, arrogance is loud. Confidence walks in and doesn't need to say a word. Arrogance kicks the door open just to hear its own name echo back. Let's break this down. Confidence is built on a solid foundation of self-awareness and earned experience. Studies in psychology, including those by Dr. Albert Bandura, show that true confidence stems from a person's belief in their own competence based on real accomplishments, not wishful thinking. Sigma males operate from this zone. You know your strengths, your limits, and your worth. You've done the inner work, so you don't feel the need to prove anything. Now, arrogance, that's a fragile mask. It's loud because it's scared of silence. It demands attention because it's afraid of being ignored. It's what happens when ego overrides humility. And here's the kicker. While confidence draws people in, arrogance pushes them away. Confident people uplift a room. Arrogant people dominate it. Sigma males don't thrive on applause. They thrive on purpose. You didn't walk this lone wolf path just to impress people. You did it to live on your own terms. That's freedom. That's power. So the next time you walk into a room, don't chase attention. Let your presence speak for itself. People respect the man who doesn't need to shout. They gravitate toward the one who simply. In a world that's addicted to noise, your silence is your superpower. Let it echo louder than arrogance ever could. Point 2, isolation versus superiority complex. Sigmas enjoy solitude. That's our sanctuary. It's where we recalibrate, reflect, and recharge. But here's the truth bomb. Solitude, when left unchecked, can turn into a trap. The danger, when alone time mutates into a superiority complex. You've probably heard the voice creep in. I'm better off alone because I'm better than everyone else. That's not confidence, that's arrogance in disguise. Let's break it down. Psychologically, solitude has immense benefits. It boosts creativity, enhances emotional regulation, and improves productivity. Studies show that people who intentionally spend time alone are often more self-aware and goal-driven. That's sigma energy right there. But the line between healthy independence and toxic disconnection is razor thin. Confidence says, I walk alone by choice. That's strength, clarity, and purpose. Arrogance whispers, no one else deserves to walk beside me. That's pride camouflaged as independence. One empowers, the other isolates. Here's the truth, just because you don't fit in doesn't mean others are beneath you. You're different, not superior. Thinking otherwise creates a mental echo chamber where no new perspective gets in and no personal growth comes out. Solitude is meant to be your battery charger, not your ivory tower. Being unreachable doesn't mean being untouchable. Real Sigmas know how to value connection while maintaining their independence. We don't need the crowd, but we respect it. We can walk alone without looking down on those walking in groups. So use your solitude wisely, reflect, strategize, build. But don't let it convince you you're above everyone. That's not strength. That's self-sabotage wearing a mask. Stay sharp, stay grounded, stay Sigma. Point 3, when boundaries become barriers. Sigmas are masters of setting boundaries, real boundaries, not the fake kind that people talk about but never enforce. A Sigma male understands the value of his time, energy, and emotional space, and he defends them like sacred ground. Saying no isn't rude to him, it's necessary. He knows his worth and doesn't owe anyone access to his life just because they want it. That's strength. That's clarity. But here's where it gets tricky. Boundaries, when taken too far, can become walls. Not the kind that protect, but the kind that imprison. You start cutting people off, not because they've violated your peace, but because letting them in would mean showing your human side, your fears, your hopes, your flaws. Vulnerability starts to feel like a risk you can't afford. So you retreat, isolate, and call it self-respect. But there's a fine line. According to psychological studies, healthy boundaries are linked with self-esteem, emotional intelligence, and better relationships. On the other hand, emotional walls often stem from trauma, fear of rejection, or unresolved pride. Confidence says, this is what I need to be at peace. Arrogance says, no one deserves access to me. So ask yourself, are you setting boundaries out of clarity or fear? Are you guarding peace or guarding ego? Being a Sigma isn't about being unreachable, it's about being intentional. It's knowing when to say no and when to say, I'll let you in, but on my terms. That's power, that's growth. True strength isn't about avoiding connection. It's about choosing it wisely. And if you're just using your independence to hide behind pride, then maybe it's time to reassess what you're really protecting. Because being strong doesn't mean being alone. It means knowing when to open the gate and when to keep it shut. Point 4, silent confidence versus silent condescension. Sigmas are not loudmouths. That's not our lane. We don't shout to be heard, and we don't perform just to prove a point. Our silence is part of our strength. But here's the twist. Silence is a double-edged sword. Used wisely, it commands respect. Used carelessly, it can send the wrong message. There's a fine line between power and pride. Let's break it down. Psychologists have found that silence can signal confidence. In a world where everyone's scrambling to be noticed, a calm presence stands out. People tend to lean in when a person of few words finally speaks. That's the strength of a true Sigma, measured intentional communication. But silence can also be misread. If your quietness starts to feel cold, distant, or dismissive, it's no longer commanding, it's condescending. And here's the danger zone. When your energy gives off the vibe that others aren't worth your time or words, you're not embodying Sigma energy. You're stepping into arrogance. Being a Sigma isn't about being better than others, it's about being better than your former self. True strength doesn't need to belittle. The goal isn't to be silent to elevate yourself. It's to be silent because you're grounded, focused, and wise enough to know when to speak. So next time you choose silence, ask yourself, am I being still out of power or out of pride? Let your silence feel like peace, not punishment. That's the Sigma way. Point 5, self-reliance versus refusal to accept help. Self-reliance is one of the defining traits of the Sigma male. You don't wait for permission or expect rescue. You roll up your sleeves, face the storm, and build your own ladder to climb out. It's admirable and rare. In fact, studies in psychological resilience show that individuals who rely on internal motivation and initiative are more likely to overcome adversity and lead purpose-driven lives. But like all strengths, self-reliance has a shadow side. When you begin to see asking for help as a weakness or view collaboration as compromise, you've crossed into dangerous territory. That's no longer independence, it's isolation in disguise. Arrogance has a subtle voice. It tells you no one can help me because no one is on my level. It flatters the ego while cutting off access to wisdom, growth, and support. This mindset doesn't make you stronger. It just builds walls around your potential. Remember, even apex predators hunt in packs when needed. The lone wolf is powerful, but the pack survives longer. The idea that accepting help is weakness is a myth rooted in pride. In reality, it takes more courage to admit you need support than to pretend you don't. Psychologist Abraham Maslow, known for Maslow's hierarchy of needs, emphasized that self-actualization includes not just independence, but also meaningful relationships and community. True growth comes from knowing when to walk alone and when to walk together. Collaboration doesn't dilute your strength, it refines it. Real confidence isn't threatened by help, it welcomes it, filters it, and uses it as fuel. So stay self-reliant, but don't let your pride keep you from rising higher with others. The strongest men aren't those who never fall. They're the ones who rise and allow others to lift them when necessary. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Point 6, detachment versus disregard. Emotional detachment is your armor. It shields you from chaos, keeps your mind sharp in conflict, and allows you to observe rather than react. In psychology, this is often referred to as emotional regulation, a skill linked to high emotional intelligence. It's the ability to stay calm when others lose their cool, to analyze rather than absorb. But there's a fine line. Unchecked detachment turns into cold indifference. That's when the armor becomes a wall. Instead of protecting your peace, it blocks connection. Neuroscience shows that humans are wired for empathy. When you shut that off entirely, people sense it. They stop seeing you as balanced and start seeing you as disconnected, even robotic. Confidence, on the other hand, is the sweet spot. It allows you to feel emotion without being consumed by it. Confident people acknowledge feelings, manage them, and express them in a grounded way. Arrogance, however, is a mask. It pretends emotions don't matter at all. That's not strength, that's insecurity wrapped in pride. The difference is subtle but powerful. Not being ruled by emotions means you're in control, but not caring at all, that's just emotional laziness. If your vibe screams too cool to care, you're not impressing anyone. You're radiating ego, not strength. People don't feel safe around someone who doesn't feel. They feel dismissed. So wield your emotional detachment like a tool, not a sword. Be calm, not cold. Be thoughtful, not detached. True power isn't about shutting off emotions. It's about mastering them, using them wisely, and showing others you're strong enough to care, even when it's uncomfortable. Point 7, respect for self versus disrespect for others. There's a quiet power in being confident without being condescending. A Sigma male is often admired not because he shouts the loudest, but because he doesn't need to. He's rooted in self-awareness, purpose, and independence. He can love solitude, chase goals, and stay grounded in his own rhythm without feeling the need to belittle others walking a different path. But here's where many go wrong. They confuse confidence with superiority. The moment you start mocking someone's choices, lifestyle, or values, especially when they differ from your own, you've crossed into arrogance. It's subtle at first, the smirk when someone says they want a 9-to-5 job, or the eye roll when they talk about marriage and routine. But these micro-judgments reveal insecurity, not strength. True confidence doesn't need to compete. Sigma males don't chase clout or dominance. We walk alone because our fulfillment doesn't depend on approval or comparison. We're not out here trying to win against anyone. We're simply mastering ourselves. Science backs this up. Studies in emotional intelligence show that individuals with high self-respect tend to exhibit humility and empathy. They understand that their worth isn't determined by how others live. Respecting different perspectives is a sign of emotional maturity and a marker of real leadership. So if you're truly confident, let it show in how you carry yourself, not in how you tear others down. Keep your peace. Let others walk their road. There's no need to announce that you're different. You are. Let it speak for itself. Remember, self-respect should never come at the cost of respect for others. Confidence lifts you. Arrogance lowers the whole room. Point 8, Stoicism versus emotional shutdown. Sigmas have emotional control. That's part of our mystique. But let's be clear, emotional control is not emotional suppression. There's a big difference. Suppressing your emotions doesn't make you strong, it makes you a ticking time bomb. True confidence means processing your pain, not pretending it doesn't exist. Arrogance says, I don't care. Confidence says, I care, but I'm not going to let it break me. Emotional intelligence, a key trait of Sigma males, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage both your own emotions and those of others. Research from Harvard Medical School shows that individuals with high emotional intelligence tend to be more successful in leadership, relationships, and mental health. Why? Because they process what they feel instead of ignoring it. Sigmas don't wear their hearts on their sleeves, and that's okay. But don't confuse stoicism with emotional numbness. You're human. You feel pain, disappointment, joy, heartbreak, and hope. Denying that doesn't make you untouchable. It makes you disconnected from your own humanity. Arrogance tries to erase the soft, vulnerable parts of you, but those parts, they're essential for growth. Strength isn't about pretending you're invincible. It's about knowing when to retreat, reflect, and rise. You don't have to show the world your tears, but you must show them to yourself. Reflect in silence, heal in solitude, grow in wisdom, feel, reflect, grow. That's what a Sigma does, not because we're weak, but because we're wise. Point 9, authenticity versus self-image management. Sigma confidence is rooted in being raw and real. It's not about flashy displays or trying to impress anyone. It's about being authentic, grounded, and unapologetically yourself. True Sigma males don't chase approval or curate their every move to fit an image. They walk their own path, even if it looks strange to others. But the moment you start crafting your persona just to maintain the mysterious lone wolf vibe, you've traded confidence for performance. That's not self-assurance, it's brand management. Confidence isn't about being untouchable or aloof. It's about being so secure in who you are that you don't need to put on a show. Arrogance, on the other hand, is obsessed with image. It thrives on validation, power plays, and ego. Confidence is quiet. It doesn't seek attention. It commands it through presence and integrity. Science backs this up too. A study in the found that authentic self-expression leads to higher self-esteem and better relationships. So don't fall for your own hype, Sigmas. The moment you start pretending to be real, you've already lost the plot. Stay weird, stay grounded, stay real. That's where your true power lies. Point 10, leadership versus control freak behavior. Sigma males are naturally followed because their confidence speaks volumes without needing to shout. True confidence isn't about asserting dominance or micromanaging others. It's about showing up with integrity, leading by example, and being comfortable in who you are. People are drawn to their quiet strength, gravitating toward their authentic presence. On the other hand, arrogance tries to manipulate and control. It demands obedience and seeks validation by putting others down. Arrogance is rooted in insecurity. It's a way to mask feelings of inadequacy by exerting power over others. Being in charge isn't about controlling people, but about inspiring them. A true leader doesn't create pressure. They lead through presence, showing others what's possible. When confidence shines, people follow naturally, not because they're told to, but because they respect and admire the example set. Leading with authenticity and clarity allows you to make a genuine impact. So Sigmas, here's the truth. The world needs your confidence, your quiet strength, your independence, your laser focus. But when that strength starts turning into stone, when the quiet becomes contempt, when boundaries become walls, you lose the very thing that made you powerful. Confidence uplifts. Arrogance isolates. The most Sigma thing you can do, stay rooted, stay aware, stay human. Sigmas, if you felt this message in your soul, hit that like button and smash that subscribe so you don't miss any more fire like this. Join the community where we elevate, reflect, and grow in true Sigma power. Apply these qualities in your life not to dominate, but to live with depth, purpose, and quiet strength. Stay true and stay Sigma. Greetings, Sigmas. Let's be real. Have you ever wondered why most women just don't get you and why that one rare woman stands out like a diamond in the dark? What kind of woman can match the energy of a lone wolf who doesn't follow the pack, who builds his empire in silence? Picture this, you're at a social event. Everyone's trying to impress, talk over each other, and clout chase. But you're observing, silent, watching it all unfold like a movie you've seen before. You're not playing their game because you built your own. And just when you think there's no one here on your frequency, she walks in, calm, confident, unbothered. She doesn't need to be seen, but you see her. That's her, the only woman strong enough to be with a Sigma male. Today we're diving into who she is, why she's so rare, and what makes her the only match for a man who doesn't fit into the alpha-beta narrative. We'll explore the core of the Sigma male lifestyle, the traits she must have, the spiritual chemistry between these two outliers, and what makes this dynamic powerful yet elusive. Let's break it down. Before we define her, we've got to understand you, Sigmas. You're not anti-social. You're selectively social. You're not lonely. You're alone by choice. You're not trying to dominate the room. You're mastering your craft in the shadows. Sigmas operate outside the social hierarchy. They're self-reliant, introspective, and fiercely independent. You don't chase validation. You don't follow rules. You rewrite them. And when it comes to love, you don't fall for the loudest woman in the room. You fall for the one who doesn't need attention to feel complete. So let's meet her. Number one, she respects space, not fears it. The Sigma male needs space like he needs air. It's not a preference, it's a requirement. Silence isn't awkward for him, it's sacred. It's where he hears his own thoughts, recalibrates his mission, and sharpens his purpose. When he disappears for days, it's not to play mind games. He's not ghosting, punishing, or manipulating. He's retreating to refuel. Whether he's working on a business idea, reading 5 books in a weekend, training his body, or simply detaching from the relentless buzz of society, his solitude is strategic. Psychology calls it self-regulation, a mental reset that fuels creativity and clarity. Now here's where most relationships crack. When he doesn't respond to a text right away, the average woman spirals. Is he losing interest? Is something wrong? But a woman who truly understands the Sigma energy doesn't just tolerate space, she honors it. She's not threatened by distance because she's secure in herself. She sees silence as part of his process, not a sign of disconnection. In fact, she mirrors that independence. She's building too. She's not obsessed with constant updates or emotional babysitting. She gets it. Growth happens in solitude. And here's the truth. For a Sigma, peace is the love language, not clinginess, not codependency, not over-communication. He doesn't want to be possessed. He wants to be respected. If you suffocate him, he'll vanish. But if you give him room to breathe, he'll return more powerful, more focused, and more devoted than ever. Because when a Sigma knows you understand his silence, he knows he's found something rare. Number two, she has a life of her own. Sigmas aren't babysitters. They're not looking to raise someone else's self-esteem or manage emotional chaos. A Sigma male is a lone wolf by nature, independent, mission-driven, and allergic to drama. That's why he's not drawn to women who are merely seeking attention, affection, or someone to complete them. He's drawn to women with ambition, women who have a mission, not just mascara. The woman who captures a Sigma's interest is one who's building her own empire. She's not waiting around for someone to validate her existence. She's creating impact, pursuing purpose, and walking in power. Her identity isn't tied to her relationship status. It's anchored in her goals. And that's exactly what makes her magnetic to a Sigma. Studies in social psychology show that individuals with a high internal locus of control, those who believe they are responsible for their own success, tend to thrive in leadership and entrepreneurial roles. This is the kind of energy a Sigma male respects. He's not looking for dependency. He's looking for compatibility. This woman doesn't orbit his world. She has her own galaxy. And when those galaxies collide, it's not chaos. It's a strategic alliance. They don't complete each other. They complement each other. She doesn't need to be saved. She's the kind of woman who saves herself. And Sigmas? They deeply admire that, because in a world full of noise and neediness, nothing stands out more to a Sigma male than a woman who stands firmly on her own 2 feet. Their connection, it's not built on emotional crutches, it's forged in mutual respect, independence, and shared vision. Number 3, emotionally intelligent, not emotionally explosive. Drama is repellent to the Sigma male, not because he's emotionally distant, but because he's emotionally disciplined. He's witnessed how unchecked emotions can detonate even the most promising relationships. Raised on logic and matured through solitude, the Sigma male has learned that peace isn't just a preference, it's a strategy. He doesn't entertain yelling matches or emotional manipulation. He's not impressed by tantrums or swayed by crocodile tears. The woman who captures his attention is the one who's mastered the art of emotional intelligence. That means she understands her own feelings, can express them clearly, and listens without the need to dominate. Emotional intelligence, or EQ, is a psychological concept defined as the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions, both in oneself and in others. According to psychologist Daniel Goleman, people with high EQ tend to have better relationships and decision-making skills. This is crucial for the Sigma male, who values depth over drama. In conflict, he doesn't want to fight. He wants a resolution. And the right woman for him doesn't just react, she responds with intentionality. She doesn't twist her words to wound or play power games. Instead, she communicates with clarity and calm, which is rare and therefore magnetic to the Sigma. Calm, after all, is a superpower in a world addicted to noise. The Sigma male doesn't need chaos to feel alive. He thrives in environments where peace reigns and logic guides decisions. And when he finds a woman who understands this, who brings harmony instead of havoc, that's when a deep, powerful connection can truly unfold. He doesn't fall for the loudest voice in the room. He falls for the calm in the storm. Number 4, she's mysterious, not needy. Let's be honest, Sigma males don't do clingy. They thrive in solitude, not because they're antisocial, but because they're self-contained. These men value depth over drama and substance over superficiality. That's why the woman who truly captures a Sigma male's attention isn't the one blowing up his phone or tagging him in every meme. She's the one who moves like a poem, quiet, layered, and impossible to forget. This woman doesn't chase. She doesn't need to. Her allure lies in her subtlety. She has an aura that sparks curiosity, not desperation. Psychologically speaking, mystery activates the brain's dopamine system, the same reward center triggered by goals and challenges. A Sigma male, who often thrives on intellectual stimulation, finds this dynamic irresistibly engaging. Her silence isn't cold, it's composed. Her stories aren't told all at once, they're discovered like secret chapters in a novel. She's complex, not complicated, and yes, there's a big difference. A complicated person creates confusion and conflict. Their emotional roller coasters become your problem. But a complex woman? She's rich in experience, layered in perspective, and emotionally self-aware. She's been through things, learned from them, and now carries herself with quiet strength. That depth isn't baggage, it's wisdom. Sigma males appreciate this. They don't want someone who needs constant validation or proximity. They seek a partner who is complete within herself. Someone who doesn't orbit their world, but rather invites them into a universe of her own. In the end, the woman who wins a Sigma isn't the loudest in the room. She's the one who doesn't try to win him at all. She's just authentic, intriguing, and self-possessed. And to a Sigma male, that's not just attractive, that's unforgettable. Number 5, high-value energy. Sigma males don't chase status, rather they attract energy. The women who captivate them exude a unique high-frequency energy that stands out effortlessly. It's not about competing with others or showing off material possessions. Instead, these women radiate confidence, authenticity, and a quiet strength that doesn't need to be announced. Their aura is magnetic. The Sigma male sees this energy long before words are exchanged. Why? Because real recognizes real. It's a deeper connection, not reliant on surface-level attraction. Sigma males are naturally attuned to authenticity, so when they encounter a woman who is grounded in her own truth, they recognize it instantly. It's the subtle yet undeniable pull that comes from her unshakable self-assurance and inner peace. This high-frequency energy is magnetic because it's genuine. Women who carry this energy are not trying to impress, they're simply being their true selves, and that speaks volumes to the Sigma male. He respects this power, and in turn he doesn't chase or compete. He simply appreciates and is drawn to the energy that's naturally present. It's a connection based on mutual recognition and understanding of one another's true essence. Number 6, she doesn't try to change him. Most women, when they encounter a Sigma male, may think, he's amazing or once I fix him. But this is the wrong approach. Sigma males are not puzzles to be solved. They are not looking for someone to change them or mold them into something they are not. Instead, the right woman for a Sigma will understand and accept him as he is. The silence of a Sigma male is not a flaw, it's a function of his personality. He values introspection, self-reflection, and often processes his thoughts internally before expressing them. This is not an issue to fix, but a characteristic to appreciate. Similarly, his independence is not a form of rebellion or resistance to commitment. It's simply who he is. A Sigma thrives when given the space to pursue his own path and follow his own values. He doesn't need constant validation or external direction to feel secure. The key to being with a Sigma male is not trying to control or change him. Instead, the ideal partner will flow with his rhythm, respect his need for solitude, and support his individuality. In return, this allows a deep connection built on mutual understanding and respect, without the need for unnecessary compromises. Number 7, loyalty over luxury. Sigma males are known for their strong sense of independence and self-reliance, and this trait extends to their relationships. They don't get swayed by superficial things like designer clothes or flashy displays of wealth. Instead, they value loyalty above all else. For them, actions speak louder than material possessions or social media validation. When it comes to the right woman, she's not someone who's only present when things are easy. She's the kind of person who shows up during the storm, supporting her partner when challenges arise and staying true through thick and thin. A true partner, she doesn't need constant public displays of affection or validation on platforms like Instagram. Her love is shown in the quiet moments, in how she uplifts her partner, and in her commitment behind closed doors. Sigma males appreciate a woman who values substance over optics. It's not about how the relationship looks from the outside, but about the deeper connection they share. She's protective of what they've built together, cherishing it without the need to showcase it to the world. In a relationship with a Sigma male, loyalty, trust, and genuine connection are everything. Number 8, deep thinker, not surface level. A Sigma male thrives on mental stimulation. For him, a relationship isn't just about attraction or compatibility, it's about engaging conversations that push boundaries. He needs a woman who isn't afraid to dive into complex topics, challenge his perspectives, and explore new ideas. A woman who can debate philosophy, question societal norms, and question life's deeper meanings. That's the kind of woman a Sigma male values. But what really sets the Sigma's ideal partner apart? It's her ability to challenge him intellectually, not to undermine his masculinity. A strong woman for a Sigma doesn't follow trends or simply go along with the crowd. Instead, she questions the status quo, thinks for herself, and isn't afraid to voice her opinions. This doesn't mean she is combative or dismissive of his views, but she isn't afraid to respectfully disagree and offer her own insights. This dynamic creates a relationship based on respect, growth, and mutual admiration for each other's intellect. For a Sigma, the strongest connections are built on shared curiosity, the exchange of ideas, and a willingness to think deeply about the world. That kind of intellectual bond is rare, and it's priceless. Number 9, spiritually grounded. A Sigma male's true power often thrives in solitude, where he can tap into his inner wisdom and strength. But what many don't realize is that his sense of self is deeply connected to something far greater than just the material world. He's attuned to a higher purpose. This spiritual alignment is key to his existence. Unlike those who are driven solely by physical attraction, the Sigma male values depth and meaning in his relationships. For a woman to truly resonate with him, she must embody similar qualities. She's not someone who simply fits conventional standards of beauty or status. Instead, she's grounded in her own sense of purpose, faith, or a deep understanding of life. This isn't a person who gets lost in surface-level appearances. She's soulful, someone who seeks to connect on a level that transcends the ordinary. The bond between a Sigma male and this type of woman is much more than physical chemistry. It's divine. Their connection is based on mutual respect, shared values, and a sense of alignment with something greater. Together they form a partnership that goes beyond the superficial, rooted in authenticity and spiritual depth. Number 10, she chooses him, but doesn't need him. Sigmas understand the importance of mutual respect and self-sufficiency.